Test 1 2. Test 1 2 3. Test.
Oh, no. Yeah, but
Test 1 2. Test 1 2 3.
this doesn't need to be closer. It's good.
That's what I was gonna try to do.
I'm just asking.
No. Remember, you're being live streamed. So. There you go. Test 1 2 3. That should work right there. Test 1. Yeah, put it a little bit. Miss Perkins, can you hear me? Test 1 2 3. Miss Raquel, can you hear me? Miss Perkins, can you hear me, Miss Perkins? Miss Perkins, test 1 2 3. Test 1 2. Test. There you go, Robbie. I think that sounds pretty good right there. Miss Perkins, Miss Cynthia Perkins. Raph, can you hear me? Pretty good. Louder.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2.
How do you turn it on? So you can get my face. Let me move the mic so you can get my face.
I know they're taking pictures and everything. The thing up there can look ugly. I don't know if they want to fix that or you just want to leave it that way.
You ready? You ready? Oh. Okay. Good morning, and welcome to the first annual Teacher Bell Awards. I would like to thank parents, community members, and visitors to Cotulla High School for coming to our event and taking time from your busy schedules. We really appreciate that. I also would like to thank Dr. Jack Seals, our Superintendent of Schools, for being here. At this time, I would like to introduce Julie Martinez, who will be leading us in our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. That was great. That was absolutely great. I would now like to take this time to introduce our student liaison, Mr. Taylor Edwards. He has a few words he would like to share with y'all. Mr. Edwards.
Good morning, my fellow Americans. A new founded tradition here at Cotulla High School has been brought to us by our principal, Dr. Norris, the Bell Awards. Today, these 10 friends of mine and yours will each be presenting an award to a teacher who they think truly influenced, supported, and motivated them to be successful today and built a strong foundation for their tomorrow. It is important to never forget any success we garnish is owed to family, educators, and one's individual ambition. Each year, school tends to be more and more difficult. We begin our school years learning the basics, addition, subtraction, then advance to more challenging subjects, algebra, calculus. Education is the most powerful weapon one could ever possess. It is the passage to the future. Like the wise man said, tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. We must be prepared for tomorrow. If we ignore the past or dwell in the present, we will miss the future. Luckily, the class of 2017 and countless others will not miss the future. Why? Because of the tireless work of our teachers. They awake early in the morning. They work all day. And their work day is not 8 to 5, it is 24/7. Even when their work day is technically over, they are engulfed with more. A teacher once told me, if she ever sat down and calculated how many hours she works and compared it to how much she gets paid, she would realize, much to her dismay, that she earns pennies to the hour. But I do not believe that. They teach for a greater purpose. And back to the wages, if you're upset about them, vote for Taylor. Our teachers' work has not gone unnoticed. Teachers prepare us for tomorrow. They prepare us to graduate. They hand us the future. They give us that powerful tool of an education. As mentioned before, teachers aren't the only ones who help us, but everyone who has helped us collectively have had one goal in mind: to help us grow, like trees. Last year, I attended a college graduation. The commencement speaker was an English professor from Trinity University. She made a similar point. She said that we are all trees. We start off as saplings, and it may take years, some of us more than others, speaking for myself, but we do grow. We grow into beautiful trees. Why? Because of those who watered us, cared for us, because of our parents, our families, our friends, our teachers, our God. Now back to the English professor. Mind you, it took her about an hour to tell this tree story. You think I'm kidding? She went into detail. She even named the trees. But her point, no matter how long it took her to tell us exactly what it was 110% correct. Now, when typing this speech, I used and typed in the past tense. I said teachers helped us, teachers cared for us, they watered us. But how did I fool myself into thinking we were even close to being done? We still need you all, teachers. We are lucky to have the best teachers. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, as well as the hearts of all of your students. May God bless you all, and may God also bless the United States of America.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. I would like to give you all a little background on what the Teacher Bell Awards are. I experienced them in another school district where I worked, and they'd had them in place for a number of years. And when I brought the idea to Dr. Seals and Mr. Vela and a number of our staff, they gave us great support on looking to implement it here. But what it boils down to is the top 10 students through the 5th 6 weeks of the school year get to select a teacher that had a large impact on their life in public education. It can be from kinder, first grade, all the way through their senior year. It could be a teacher that was involved with them here. It could be a teacher that was involved that they may have had as an educator on another campus or in another district. But that's what it comes down to. Somebody that touched them, that gave them some emphasis to understand education, appreciate it, and make them a better person. Y'all know our teachers dedicate themselves day in and day out, really 12 months out of the year. It's not 10 months out of the year, folks. And seldom do they get much in return other than seeing these students move forward, move to the next grade level, eventually graduate, and get on with their lives. Today is an opportunity for some of these students to give back to their teachers in some form or fashion. And today, in that fashion, is they get to tell them personally how they touch them. You're going to hear some great speeches today from our top 10 students. It's going to get to you. I promise you it's going to get to you. But that's where this comes from. These names we've done everything we can to try to keep them anonymous, so the teachers' names won't be called to the very end of the story. So it's going to keep you wondering who it is and how this, you'll see how this person actually impacted the students giving a speech, but you're not going to know who it is till right at the last moment, okay? So, to get this started, our first top 10 student is Miss Genesis Montemayor. Miss Montemayor.
Educator, inspiration, and guidance are a few things that come to mind when I think of the teacher that will be receiving my Bell Award. I'd always heard a great teacher can change a student's life. For some, a job is just a job, but for others, like the teacher I am here to talk to you about, a job is an opportunity to implement good in others. This teacher always goes above and beyond their duty to ensure the well-being of others. This teacher helped me to where I am today and made a huge impact on my life in the little time I have lived here. Without this teacher, I would not be as prepared for what lies ahead. As Dan Rather once said, the dream begins, most of the time, with a teacher who believes in you, who tugs and pushes and leads you onto the next plateau, sometimes poking you with a sharp stick called truth. Like a great teacher, you made it your job to make a significant impact on my life, inside and outside of the classroom. From a desk to the field, you were always there to pick my head up when I was down. Your class made me confident in who I am and what I am working towards. Teaching is not easy, and trust me, I know teaching me is definitely not easy. I am very set in my ways, and so are you at times, but you made it your job to teach me how to change that. Thanks for being one of my biggest inspirations, for not giving up on me, and for the numerous words of encouragement and advice. I have had countless teachers before you and numerous ones to come, but I will never forget everything you have taught me and continue to teach me day in and day out. I want to thank you for teaching me how to be semi-patient and polite, even in the situations where I would much rather say or do something completely different. I want to thank you for believing in me enough to make me an officer in your student council organization, and for helping me manage the softball team this year, even though you tried replacing me with Gail that one time. Without you, I would not be as outgoing and prepared as I am now. You helped me decide the major I will shortly start pursuing. I'll get back with you and tell you how that goes. What makes you a great teacher is not the degree you earned, the college you went to, or the years of experience you have. It's the genuineness in which you teach and the big heart that shines through you. You believed in me when I did not believe in myself. You pushed me into places I didn't think I belonged. And what a coincidence that the year I entered into your class, I went from being ranked 17 to being ranked 11 and then 10. My senior year is coming to an end, and the summer is quickly approaching. But as I close this chapter of my life, I come to the realization that I won't see you every day, and that you won't be here to encourage me to do the best that I can. Now comes the real challenge. I have to take everything you've taught me and apply it to the real world. The impact you have made on me is unmatched, and it truly does not go unnoticed. The world needs more teachers like you, loving, caring, and generous. You weren't like most teachers who stuck our noses in textbooks and handed us copies of packets and told us to do one every day. Your class incorporated a lot of project-based learning and hands-on activities that helped me understand the concepts. You find the good in each student that comes in your classroom, and from someone who is both your aide and your student, I have seen firsthand just how much you have to deal with. Above all, you keep the same smile on your face and the same great personality, and that is what makes you a great teacher. Yesterday's problem does not affect how you treat your students today. Your character truly shines through you. When Dr. Norris came to us with the idea of doing this, he told us to think of what teacher meant the most to us, inspired us, and led us to where we are today. In that moment, your name immediately popped in my head, and I'm pretty sure by now you know who you are. You are my favorite teacher and a huge inspiration, and without you, I definitely wouldn't be the person standing before you today. Thank you for everything you do this school and for inspiring every student that walks through the doors of your classroom. It was a privilege being your student, teacher's aide, player, manager, and student council parliamentarian. Thanks for believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. Ms. Thomas, would you please come up here and accept your bell award?
Our next top 10 student is Miss Allison Garcia. Miss Garcia.
As of today, I'm a senior in high school and I've had over 60 teachers throughout my school years. However, when I was asked what teacher mostly impacted me, I didn't have to think about it. Your name was the first that came to mind. As of today, I remember your class as if it was yesterday. Although at the time I was younger and shy and quiet in school, I still knew that I wanted to become someone extraordinary. I was only a second grader with goals and hopes for success. And when open houses came around and I heard you telling my mom how great of a student I was and all the specialties I had really motivated me and impacted me by waking me up with the thought of I can achieve anything I set my heart to. Your words of encouragement pushed me still to this day to be successful. Knowing that you believed in me made me want to prove myself not just to you, but to everyone. I thank you for believing in me and for impacting my life when even if you at least expected it. I passed by old teachers, some not knowing my name or even recognizing me, but you always found a way to stay in touch. You have motivated me to become the individual I am today. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here today having this opportunity to give you this award. You believed me for not who I know, but for who I truly am. You saw the brightness in me when others didn't, nor when I failed to do so myself. I want you to be recognized by how a great teacher you are, not just to me, but to the whole class. You led me with great guidance to pursue a greater future, and I will continue to pursue better for my education with the ambition you had installed in me. I was honored to have you as a teacher. You helped me gain confidence within myself and with my academics. I hope to one day to impact a young one's life as you have done to me. Years will pass by, but I will always remember you because of how awesome of a teacher you were, but how precious of a person you are. Thank you for everything. May this bell be a token from me to you. Ms. Montgomery, will you please come down and receive your award?
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. Our next student, top 10 student, Ms. Janelle Patel. Ms. Patel.
Good morning, students and teachers. First, a big thank you for being here today. It's crazy to think we only have about 3 more weeks of school left. As a senior, I can speak for most of us that it's been a crazy journey. For 4 years ago, it was nothing like what it is right now, and if I could rewind back in time, I would. Even though I've gone through numerous roller coasters, I wouldn't change it for anything. High school has been a headache with memories that cannot be replaced. From walking down the buildings to almost walking the stage for one last time, I have so much to look back and be thankful for. The experience I have had at this school is nothing like other. I moved to Cotulla in the beginning of 8th grade, and it was hard to settle down since I didn't know anyone. But as years went by, I'm thankful for the people I have experienced the past 5 years with. If there's one thing that's very significant that I've realized is to surround yourself with the right group of people. High school is all fun and games, but we can't let that interact with our academics. But anyways, we're gathered here to show appreciation and cherishment to those educators that have given us a handbook to guide us in our future lives. Sometimes we forget how much of an impact our teachers are on us. Being a teacher isn't about just great books and whiteboards. It's about inspiring others and motivating them each and every day to better than what they were yesterday. With that being said, I truly appreciate each and every one of my teachers and the amount of times they have sacrificed to help me regardless what I've been through. To one of my favorite motivators that is about to receive the Bell Award from me. It's hard for me not to make it too obvious, but I'm going to try my best. But where do I even begin? You taught me dignity. You pushed and motivated me when I didn't believe in myself. You taught me that I am capable of doing everything I set my mind into. Because of you, I've came this far. Because of you, I'm standing here today. You never lost your temper. You were always patient with me and took the time to listen to me whenever I wanted to be heard. If I had not had you as my teacher for a few consecutive years, my life would be different. Not in a bad way, but you have really opened my eyes to realize what I could be and what I could do in a way I would have never imagined. You have gifted me with dedication and persistence throughout the years. You have taught me that I am who I am, and to get to the top, it's all up to me. You genuinely make me feel supported when you say, let me know if you need help with anything. And you truly mean it. Thank you for your patience and time. Thank you for being there when I needed help with homework. Thank you for staying behind to help me after school, even when I know there are other greater places you'd rather be. Thank you for explaining lessons in depth until I understood them. Most of all, thank you for pushing me to do my very best. I admire how positive you are. You're often the first person I come across in the mornings when I walk to my class. You always came with a smile on your face and never failed to say good morning or any other kind words when we come across each other. Thank you for being a great motivator, especially when my classmates and I sometimes showed little or no interest in lectures by putting our heads down, texting, or talking. I can only imagine how much you have to sacrifice of yourself in order to educate us. Under your teaching, I have grown and learned some good values. You have changed the way I think about the subject. You have also changed my perspective about myself. I've learned to manage my time wisely, fight for what I want, and to never lose hope. You believed in me, and even when I didn't have you as a teacher this year, your support was all that I needed to get through this year with all the college and scholarship stress. In closing, I would like to truly thank one of my favorite mentors. It's been a pleasure having you as my teacher for 2 consecutive years and 3 consecutive years as a sponsor. The fact that you care about each and every student who walks into your class, motivate and inspire them in all that they do, and remind them to never give up is what makes you an amazing teacher. You won't ever know how much your counsel has assisted me in my life. No words in any language will ever prove how much I've appreciated having you as a teacher. Although your subject wasn't my best subject, I appreciate the amount of time you have provided me before and after school when I needed help with my homework. I know it's a lot to deal with on a daily basis, but just know that you have honestly highly impacted my life. You have a mark on my life that cannot be erased, and I promise to keep achieving all my dreams and hope to make you proud. Thank you for all your hard work. I truly appreciate it. One last thing, thank you for the time you have sacrificed at Cotulla High School, whether it's working or helping a student from before or after school. You truly are a role model, and regardless of where I end up in life, I am confident enough that I will never forget all the memories you have given me. It was a pleasure knowing you, and definitely a blessing to have you as an educator. After pouring and speaking my heart, soul, and tears onto this paper, I'm pleased to announce Ms. Patterson, will you please come up and receive your award?
Thank you, Ms. Patel. Our next top 10 student is Ms. Alex de la Garza. Ms. de la Garza.
Good morning, everyone. It's my senior year. I've gone through countless teachers who have had hundreds of students. Each one has been great and helped me become who I am today. Together, they have all made an impact on my life as a whole. But today, I'm here to talk to you about a special teacher. One who not only moved her students, but took the time to let each and every one of them help her grow. The impact she made was so much more than just her teaching well. She taught us how to not be afraid of ourselves. I met this teacher when I was very young. Who would have thought that at such a young age, I would be so touched? I remember when I was in her class the first day, I was terrified. I had no idea what I was going to do or who I was going to meet. But from the minute she talked to me, I knew I was going to be okay. Throughout the days in the classroom, she became my best friend. She pulled out my first tooth, helped me read at higher levels, joked around with me, and showed me how to kick them to the curb because I didn't need any boys in my life. And ironically enough, she even tried to pick boyfriends out for me. But most importantly, she taught me how to be me and believed in me like no one else. She would have classes after school with older students and had me stay with her because she felt that I could handle it. And of course, with that kind of faith in me, I felt like I could go to college already, even though I was so young. Her believing in me wasn't the only reason I chose her for this award. Like I mentioned earlier, she took the time to let her students teach her. She took time out of her day to build a relationship with each and every one of her students. She was always there for us. If we had a special holiday presentation after school with the music class, she was there. If things at home weren't the best, she was there to help make things better. She made her classroom a place where kids felt safe and truly cared for. It was that kind of thing that really stuck with me after all these years. One of my deepest regrets is not ever going back and catching up with her. She was an amazing person, inside and out, and I loved her like family. I didn't know her for long, but the memories she gave me will live inside my heart forever. It's my senior year, and it's time for me to actually go to college. Because of her, I have all the faith in the world that I'll be okay. Because of her, I'm pursuing a degree in teaching in hopes that one day I can be as amazing as she was for me. I would now like to present this Teacher Bell Award in memory of the late Miss Christine Claun Muchigamba, who passed away last year. I would like to ask her husband, Mr. Joey Muchigamba, to please come to the podium and accept this Bell Award on her behalf.
Thank you, Ms. de la Garza. Our next top 10 student is Ms. Gabrielle Lara.
Good morning. Hi, my name is Gabrielle Lara, and I'm a senior here at Cotulla High School. Today we're here to honor and recognize some of the wonderful teachers who have made an impact in our lives. Right now, I would like to personally acknowledge someone who has made a lasting impression on my life. I've had this teacher for 3 out of the 4 years of my high school career. Since the first week that I had him as a teacher during my sophomore year, I knew he would be such a kind person. Year after year, I had his class, and I knew for sure that what I believed that first week of sophomore year was true. He comes to school every day and does what he loves to do, teach. You can tell by the look on his face and when he's up at the board that he is devoted to being a great teacher. He is proud of what he does, and that is most definitely a quality I can respect. This year in his class has without a doubt been the most difficult, but in my opinion, the best one yet. I took this class thinking it wouldn't be too bad, but I, like others, were in for a rude awakening. Although it did open up my eyes to the fact that this teacher was truly invested in us. But when we would walk in his class a little groggy some days, he assured us that the work wouldn't be too bad. But yeah, what he told us was just what we wanted to hear, I guess. But even when Gail would doze off a bit in his class, or Dudley would be in his own world some days, or even when I was talking a little too much that day, he never gave up on us. When we felt as if though we were exhausted from doing his work, or simply just stuck on a problem, he helped us and guided us through it. He wouldn't let us give up on ourselves because he would never give up on us. He pushed us through all the bad moments in his class to be certain we would reach the good ones. If there was always one thing I could count on from him, it was at least one of his odd and quirky jokes that day. It's not difficult to tell that the subject he teaches isn't exactly most students' favorite subject. He understands that and still makes the best of the situation. Honestly, that is not something easy to do, and yet he makes it look easy as if it was. This teacher is dedicated to helping his students learn and grow as individuals. I have learned so much from him throughout the years, and I couldn't be more thankful. I appreciate all he has done for me and my fellow classmates. I hope that he continues to make an impact on future students' lives as he has mine. Words cannot express my gratitude for all that he's done, but I hope this is a start. Mr. Ocio, will you please come up and receive your bell award?
Thank you, Ms. Lara. Our next top 10 student is Miss Miranda Aguero.
Good morning. My name is Miranda Aguero, and I'm currently ranked 5th in my senior class. I will be attending Galen College of Nursing this fall and pursue a bachelor's degree in science in nursing. However, today I am not the reason we are here, but instead we are here for a very worthy teacher who has impacted my life. The teacher I have chosen has such passion for her career. She simply loves being a teacher. When I was in her class, I was amazed at the way her face lit up when she was teaching. She smiled her biggest smile when she saw her students interested in the topics she taught. Her main focus and a big portion of her happiness comes from seeing her students learn. Every time she learned something new, she would gladly tell her students about it at the beginning of the class period. Her love for the students in her class is completely out of this world. I am very proud to say that her students are her pride and joy. I remember being in her class and her saying, "If you need help with homework or have a question or concern about what we are learning in class, please give me a call. I'll be sure to help you." Even on the weekends, she still thought about the well-being of her students. But most importantly, while I was in her class, she made me feel like family. When it came to the subjects she teaches, I'll admit, I wasn't the brightest student. I was often sitting at my desk, a little confused because I couldn't grasp the whole concept. In other words, it was my worst subject. She would often reassure us students that it is okay to be confused, as it's all part of learning. But by the time the test came around, we would be well prepared. I have learned from her that hard work is very much needed in order to succeed, because success doesn't happen overnight. I see how proud she is to have the college degrees that she earned. She truly is an inspirational person. As time continues to pass us all by, I hope that one day I can obtain some of the traits that she has. I want to be as selfless and caring as she is. I want to put others before myself without hesitation. I hope maybe one day I can be as respected and as loved as she is by all the people at our campus and within our school district. I think it's safe to say she has made an impact in all our lives in one way or another. I am proud to say that I now know I can accomplish my goals because of the mentality she has instilled within me. Before I ask her to come up and accept her award, I would like to tell her thank you. Thank you for being such a wonderful person and an amazing teacher. Thank you for all the times I passed by your classroom after lunch this year and you would tell me hi and tell me you'd see me 8th period. Thank you for reassuring me that the career path I have chosen is a very good one when I was in doubt. Last but certainly not least, thank you for all you have done for Cotulla High School over the course of your career. With that being said, it is with great honor that I would like to recognize Mrs. Linda Patterson to come up and accept her Teacher Bell Award.
Thank you, Ms. Aguero and Ms. Patterson. You got a twofer, that's pretty good. Our next student, top 10 student, is Ms. Monica Martinez. Ms. Martinez.
Hello, fellow students and teachers. I'm Monica Martinez, a senior here at Cotulla High School. I am ranked in the top 10% and involved in many organizations here at our school. I'm in the Mighty Cowboy Band, National Honor Society, Student Council Secretary, and FFA Treasurer. Teachers Appreciation Week was concluded last week, and I would like to start off by thanking our teachers for everything they do, but I would like to talk about one teacher in particular that impacted me the most. Although it was many years ago that this teacher entered my life, they have still managed to inspire me today. It was my second year of attending school when I was blessed to have been assigned to this teacher. She was the only bilingual kindergarten teacher, so I was put into her class. Although I was so young, she managed to influence me so much at this age that I would have to say she has played a huge role into the person I am today. I became determined and a studious student because of her. She genuinely cared about my education and helping me reach my potential at such a critical age. You gave me the discipline and educational consistency that I needed that stayed embedded in me. I remember going to summer school at that age with her, and I actually enjoyed it because she made learning enjoyable. I remember every morning the class would go onto the mat and we would learn the months, the seasons, numbers, and days of the week in English and Spanish. The teacher managed to get me not only but all the other students engaged in what we needed to learn by her awesome teaching skills. I remember trying to be on my best behavior every day and do my homework because I needed another sticker on my school bus chart. As you can see here, it's completely full. This teacher gave me the motivation to be the best possible version of myself. I'll have conversations with her now, and she'll tell me how my pre-kinder teacher had told her how shy I was and how I wasn't going to want to participate as much. But on the contrary, I was the exact opposite in her class. She managed to get me out of my shell and have the courage to be up here today to recognize her as such a wonderful teacher. Even though I moved on from kindergarten and had many teachers after her, she was one of the teachers that has always kept in touch with me throughout the years. It will be sad to see her go this year as she concludes her last year in teaching. I only wish someone can fill your spot for all those kids that will not be as lucky enough as I was to have you. Over the years, you have grown to be more than just my kindergarten teacher, but a friend. I'm so glad that you were my teacher because you are one of the best. I will never forget you and how because of you, I have thrived knowledgeably and personally into the person I am. I'm sure everyone by now is wondering who this amazing teacher is, and I won't make you wait any longer. Ms. Barrios, will you please come up and receive your Teacher Bell Award?
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Our next top 10 guest speaker is Ms. Jordan Leone. Ms. Leone.
First of all, I would like to say how appreciative I am to all of Cotulla High School's teacher and staff and all that they do for us. Without y'all, we would not be where we are today. However, one teacher specifically made high school a whole lot easier for me. I moved to Cotulla the summer before my freshman year, and I hardly knew anyone. I have known this teacher since I was a little girl, and due to the fact that my family is from here and they have known this teacher since they were young as well. On my first day of school without many friends, I was already nervous as it was. But knowing that I had at least one familiar face in a sea of strangers made all the difference in the world. If I was lost, like most of the freshmen always are, I knew that I could run to this teacher's class and have them get me where I needed to be. The comfort that I have been given from this teacher did not stop after my freshman year. It has lasted all through high school. This teacher does not simply show up for work every day of the school year. They have invested their time in the betterment of their students, and during my time at Cotulla High School, I have seen their complete commitment to these students as well. Whether it be drama between friends that needs to be settled, help filling out college applications and scholarships, or even if it is just to have someone there to talk to when you're having a bad day. This teacher is always there when they are needed. She has impacted my life as a Cotulla High School student here at CHS for the past 4 years. By offering her help, her advice, or simply her smile to brighten my day. The person I've selected to receive a Teacher Bell Award here this morning is Miss Allen. Miss Allen, please come up and receive your well-earned Teacher Bell Award.
Thank you, Ms. Leone. Our next top 10 student is Mr. Lance Jones. Mr. Jones.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to start off by thanking everyone who attended this event today and hope you have room in your heart for another heartwarming, soul-touching speech, like the 8 you've just heard. You know, when our dedicated principal, Dr. Norris, asked me to participate in this ceremony, I could only think of one question: what is an educator? Sure, we all have our own definitions and thoughts about what an educator is or should be, but I always thought of a single word when I thought of an educator: inspiration. The word inspiration triggers a certain response in all of us. It triggers a passion and a drive to be something at that moment we are not. And up until I took the class of this particular educator, I'd yet to be inspired by an educator. I understand that sounds harsh, but the inspiration I'm referring to isn't inspiration in the sense of looking up to a certain individual and taking from them their knowledge, wisdom, and experience. No, when I speak of inspiration, I speak of searching deep within and finding who you are and who you were meant to be by directive or facilitation. Not by directive or facilitation, but by finding the truth within yourself. Finding passion in what you are most passionate about, and pursuing that particular passion to the satisfaction of your heart's desire. This educator certainly inspired me to be the person I am today, and this individual did it in such a way that left me longing for her continued inspiration for years to come. You see, up until that point, my creativity and drive had been misinterpreted as hyperactivity and general inability to focus. Previous educators had sought to direct my behavior towards a certain set goal, a certain way of thinking. Of course, being who I am, I was resistant to that attempt to change who I am fundamentally. Of course, that was all before I met the educator who I am honoring today. Unlike some of the educators I had previously found myself under, I didn't start a relationship with her through conventional means. I sought her out after school because I was genuinely interested in what she could teach me. It was 6th grade year. I had no real direction in my life, no real drive, or any actual idea about who I wanted to be or even what I wanted to do in the future. All I knew was what my parents had told me. Make good grades and be on your best behavior. So that's what I did. It didn't take much energy to achieve good grades. Oftentimes I would find myself finishing my work before others had and pursuing my particular passions, which happened to be reading up on history and certain governmental functions. Since I didn't have much to do after school, and school would get extremely repetitive, I would find solace in a particular classroom, performing a particular activity, and hanging out with a particular educator. That classroom was Smart Lab, and the activity was SimCity 4. I would come in every day after school by myself, just to play the game. It was a game where I could be mayor of a city, build it from the ground up. As the days continued, I would find myself enjoying this educator's company more and more. You'd have to be a cold-hearted and cruel individual not to get along with her. She is kind, enlightening, and so eager to help in any endeavor and pursue in any activity with the same amount of passion you were willing to put into it. She immediately became my favorite educator, and she only kept me climbing the ladder of inspiration. As the year ended, I found myself picking the next year's classes, and I jumped at the opportunity to join Smart Lab and spend every day with this educator once more. When 7th grade started, I found myself with access to much more than just SimCity 4. I was able to pursue any and every passion I could get my hands on. Architecture, photography, computer science, computer animation, music making, producing, directing, and a variety of other activities I've completely forgotten, but I do know one thing. She never abandoned her passion for education. She never directed me to slow my roll, attempted to curb my creativity by telling me I need to stick to one station or focus on one activity. Whatever I felt like doing that day, I would pursue passionately and vigorously, with only the utmost support from her. She would never shy from offering to help, giving assistance, providing advice, and even opening the doors to new possibilities that I had never considered. Never once had I had an educator so dedicated to the well-being and creativity of her students. I absolutely adored her class and enjoyed every moment of it like I never had any class before. It was in her class that I found myself my calling and my interest in politics. We had a student news broadcast called NTV, which gave students an apt look at the news around the school today. One day, I was given the assignment of the politics segment. I was unaware of how intricate or interesting the subject of politics was at that particular point in my life. She thought it would be right up my alley and recommended it to me. She had never led me astray before, so I began to research the topic and was fascinated by the results. The very subject completely baffled and shocked me at every turn, while at the same time keeping me interested and concerned. Suffice it to say, my insight blew away the crowd at my first attempt at the politics segment. Every week, I would ask for the same segment, and she would place it in my capable hands. After a couple of weeks, I began to notice that opinions would form around the news I was reporting. Slowly but surely, my news became the Newman Middle School's very own version of the O'Reilly factor. Long story short, from that point onward, I was hooked on politics. I decided my dream job was that of a politician. In order to achieve that, I would need to become a lawyer. And in order to become a lawyer, I must continue to do well in school. She did more for me than any teacher before or since had done, not by directing me or guiding me, but inspiring me to find my calling and pursue it. She helped me find my path by letting me find it myself. Where others had shunned or outright mocked my creativity, she embraced it. Where others chastised my personality or opinions, she allowed me to pursue them. She openly encouraged them and never told me what I should say, who I should be, or what I should do. In that way alone, to me, she was the perfect educator. She taught me what it was to think for myself. She taught me what it was to look and learn with my own eyes. To be whom I was and who I was born to be without shame or reluctance. She did what no other had done before. She encouraged me to be me and gave my life direction, purpose, and focus. For that, she will always hold a place in my heart and always be in some way responsible for every accomplishment, award, and positive action that my life takes. She inspired me to be myself, and I truly owe a portion of my success to this great educator. And for that, and so much more, Ms. Norma Abundes Cantu, will you please come up and receive your Bell Award?
Thank you, Mr. Jones. We are now up to our 10th top 10 student and their speech. So if you would, please welcome Ms. Alicia Martinez.
Good morning, and thank you all for being here. They say first impressions are important in every situation that you find yourself in. I have experienced and found this statement to be true, and something that I have seen firsthand since a very young age. As I entered pre-K back in 2003, I feared the uncertainties that lived within my classroom doors. However, the minute I stepped foot in the first classroom I'd ever been a part of, my fears disappeared as I was greeted by the warmest smile. The thought of uncertainties vanished from my mind as I followed that warm smile into my classroom. I was ready for this new journey in my life, and even though I was merely 4 years of age, I felt that I was about to experience something that I would cherish for a lifetime. So yes, first impressions can make all the difference to someone, myself included. I have never been an outgoing person, and at times I have trouble getting comfortable with people. When I first meet people, I'm reserved in nature and take a while to open up. At the age of 4, my shyness was at a much higher level than it is today. I was so shy and insecure that I used to make my mom wait outside the classroom with me until class actually started. Yet, the minute my pre-K teacher would welcome us into the classroom, I felt safe and comfortable. She was kind but stern in a way that reminded me of my parents, which is probably why I felt so comfortable. This comfort did not just end with me, and it went on to impact others. My parents, like myself, were scared of the uncertainties of sending their firstborn child to school for the very first time. These were uncharted waters, and the three of us feared what was to come. This teacher gave my parents the confidence in the school system and reassured them that everything was going to be okay. In pre-K, I was so nervous to meet new friends and attend the big school, as we would call it, and I hadn't given much thought into learning and doing work. However, thanks to this teacher, that soon changed. I was immediately taught the reason why we students are even at school is to learn, and not just to have fun. This is a tough lesson to learn at times, and I was not a fan of the way things went. I will never forget the time we were learning how to write numbers, and one day we were learning how to write the number 8. The proper way to write it was a figure 8 style, but I didn't like the way my 8s looked when written that way, so I would write mine disconnected like a snowman. I completed my assignment filled with snowman-like 8s and turned it into my teacher. She took one look at it and told me to start completely over. Shocked, I looked at her and asked what was wrong. She responded by kindly informing me that I did not follow the directions, and because of that, I needed to fix what I had done. The next hour was one of the worst of my pre-K year because while my classmates were enjoying playing at our stations, I was sitting at my desk correcting my work. Now I know what you're thinking, what impact could rewriting 8s possibly have on such a young student? But the meaning behind this event is what I've carried with me today. That day, I learned that taking shortcuts and doing things your own way is not always the key to success. Even now, in my senior year, whenever I'm contemplating whether or not to take an easy way out of an assignment, I remember those snowman 8s of mine and know that if this teacher were there with me, she would make me do the assignment correctly and to the fullest of my abilities. This teacher has been the voice of reason in my head all of these years, and I want to thank this teacher for making me rewrite my 8s. I'm not sure if that day she realized what an impact that one act would have on me, but I've kept it with me this day. This teacher has not only been an inspiration to me in the classroom, but in the way she has lived her life and overcome adversity. In the past, this teacher took a healthcare battle with cancer, and she overcame it. She did her best to not let her illness overcome her, and the minute she could, she was already back in the classroom. Life isn't fair, and sometimes bad things happen to the best people. But this teacher's refusal to lose showed me what true strength really is. Even when we want to take the shortcut, but choose the arduous road instead. Though I am talking about the personal impact this teacher has had on me individually, I know for a fact that she has impacted many others. My little sister has had the honor of being taught by her for not only 1, but 2 years, a fact that I am very jealous of. My little sister would go on and on over how much she loved this teacher, and I was happy knowing that others are feeling the same things I felt. My sister and I disagree on most things, but one of the few things that we actually agree on is that this teacher is not one, if not the best, teacher we've been taught by. I am about 3 weeks from graduating high school, and at this point, I am ranked first in my class. This has taken much hard work on my part, but I can honestly say that this would not have been possible had it not been for certain people in my life. This teacher is one of those people. At the age of 4, she showed me that she believed in me and that if I worked hard, I could achieve great things. I am now 18 and have experienced plenty since then, but I need this teacher to know that she has been with me through it all. She molded me into the student I am today. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for everything that you have done for me. Thank you for welcoming me into your classroom all those years with your warm smile and letting me know that I am good enough to do great things. It was an honor to not only have been taught by you, but to have known you. Thank you for pushing me always, even when I did not want you to. You made an impression on me that has truly impacted my life to this moment right here. Though you may not have known it, you've been with me on this journey this whole time. I hope you know how special of a teacher you are and how many students you've impacted. I hope you enjoyed teaching me as much as I enjoyed being taught by you, but most importantly, I hope the student that I am today has made you proud. Mrs. Alicia Reina, will you please do me the honor and come up and receive your Bell Award?
Thank you, top 10 students, for your speeches and for selecting the top 10 teachers that you did for this year, this time around. If you would, please, I'd like to have the top 10 honorees please stand once more. The Bell Awards are based around the top 10 students selecting teachers that have impacted their lives. What I have come to learn in my years as an educator in other places as well as here, I can guarantee you these young men and women in the stands today, this morning, could have Bell Awards for each and every one of these faculty members sitting out here in front of us today as well as others on other campuses. So if you would please, all faculty members, please rise and everybody applause, please. Thank you. Thank you. When we end here, what I would like to do is have all the honorees, the teacher honorees, stay along with our top 10 students so we could take some additional pictures, but that will be at the closing. Before we close, I would like for you to hear one last song from our illustrious Miss Julia Martinez, which we think is appropriate. Miss Martinez. It's never a good sign. It sounds like it's cutting off.
Just don't say goodbye. I hate the way it sounds. So if you don't mind, let's just say for now, see you when I see you. Another place, another time. If I ever get down your way, yeah, or you ever up around mine, we laugh about the old days and catch up on the new. Yeah, I'll see you when I see you, and I hope it's someday soon. God made this whole world round. Maybe it's that way.
Hey, second time's a charm. Second time's a charm. I got this. Wait, let me go turn on my phone.
I think we're going to try one more time, ladies and gentlemen.
It's the second time. Second time. All right. I'm so sorry, guys. It wasn't that number.
Let's just say for now, see you when I see you. Another place, another time. If I ever get down your way, yeah, are you ever up around mine? We'll laugh about the old days and I hope that someday soon. Maybe it's sad, so the passing people, yeah, I will cross again someday. Someday I'll see you when I see you. Another place, some other time. If I ever get down your way, yeah, I'll ever wrap around mine. We'll laugh about the old days and tomorrow. Yeah, I'll see you when I see you, and I hope it's someday real soon. See you when I see you. See you when I see you. Another place, another time. If I ever get down your way, yeah, are you ever up around mine? We laugh about the old days. Yeah, I'll see you when I see you, and I hope that someday you'll see you when I see you, see you when I
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Appreciate that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our first annual Teacher Bell Awards. We appreciate y'all coming in. Again, I'd like to have our honorees stay along with our top 10 students for additional pictures. And we are in third period. We're wrapping up third period, going to fourth period. So students, you're released. Staff, you're released to go to your fourth period classes. Thank y'all.